Obviously, your Detroit Lions ended up winning 38-30. Baltimore Ravens are now 1-2. Obviously, last year started off 0-2 as well, too. Do you think it's time to, hit the panic button on the Baltimore Ravens right now? Like what's going on, man?
Honestly, in a way, I do think it is. Um, but not in terms of like them having a bad season. Like I think they're still going to have a good season. I think they'll be able to bounce back easily. I'm pretty sure they have like a lighter part of their schedule. I think they're definitely going to be. I would be very, 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 very surprised if they don't make the playoffs. I think that's 100% going to happen. But to me, the reason I would be worried is because of the tendencies that now they're showing year over year over year, where it's like like they have games in the hand and then they just find ways to lose them. Because that's what happened last week. Even though it wasn't like they lost this last minute, it just felt like, we were just running the ball down their throats. It was just kind of crazy. So um, I just don't think that this team is going to be. And then, of course, you look at Derrick Henry, who's now fumbled in three straight games, which I don't think he's ever done in his career. Um, so it's just like, I don't think that this team is going to be able to win anything, maybe one playoff game or something like that. But I just don't think until they make some type of change, whether that's like the coach or something else like that, that they really have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said, you kind of hit it on the point. I would say that this team's rushing defense has been pretty poor. I think it ranks last for rushing defense as well too. And obviously, we know with the Baltimore Ravens, their identity since we've been YNs has been known to be that gritty defensive first base team. So to see them struggle right now is pretty concerning. Obviously, last year they kind of started off bad defensively, but towards the second and third part of the season, they started kind of really turning things around as well too. So if there's any team to kind of get back to having that defensive identity between now and when the regular season's over, I think it's going to definitely be the Baltimore Ravens as well too. And obviously, you guys rushed the hell out of them, but they were missing two key defensive players for that front four as well too. So it goes to show you how much how what the gap is at times from having your first string to your second string as well too. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see what happens when they're essentially whole as well too. But at the same time, it's next man up mentality, right? There's going to be injuries throughout the course of the season on offense, defense, special teams. So you just have to be ready and be locked in. But to see Lamar get sacked 7 times is highly unlikely. And I know he's one of the most agile people we've kind of seen probably since Michael Vick. But it don't matter how agile you are. If your O line ain't like that, you're gonna lose. And we saw what happened twice with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Eagles and against the Buccaneers. If your O line isn't solidified, that's crazy. So on top of having two people missing on defense and their O line, just makes me think like it may kind of be a struggle this year. But like you said, they do have some things in their faith. They have one of the best quarterbacks, considered two-time MVP in Lamar Jackson, who has 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. They do have, I wouldn't necessarily say playoff pedigree, but they since the Lamar Jackson era, when he's been healthy, they've made the playoffs every single year. They're almost won their division every single year. They have a championship level coach who hasn't been in the championship game in a while, but they still have that caliber of player as well too. So we'll see definitely what happens. But like I said, that O line was looking a little shaky. I'm a little concerned about that. We'll see what happens with their defense. And then I noticed as well too, y'all was strapping them in the red zone. So if they can't figure that out with what they have, then that's crazy. And then like you said, with Derrick Henry, like 3 straight games with fumbles and they've been momentum killers 2 out of those 3 games. Like y'all arguably could be 3-0. You know what I'm saying? At least 2-1.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them go through that shit now than later because you don't want that to come to bite you in the ass. And now I'm just thinking like, is Harbaugh like is he equivalent to Doc Rivers, dog? Like they got
That's
him
what
for
I was
three
about
more
to say.
years.
Like, I think that championship level coach thing, especially when the last one you won was what, 14 years ago or something like that, like, it is kind of overblown. What have
Yeah.
you actually done in the last? in this decade, like since the 2020 started, which is now we're halfway through this bitch and he ain't done nothing.
Nothing. Doc Rivers, dog.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
can't.
one in this one article I saw the other day, he's blown 17 double digit leads. No, he's blown 17 double digit second half leads, the most by any coach since 91. Like that is kind of crazy. And sometimes his play calling can be a big questionable. If you look back at game one versus my Buffalo Bills, you know what I'm saying? When it was 4th and 3, you knew you guys were on a roll offensively outside of that fumble with Derrick Henry. I think they didn't. I think they only punted the ball like one time. You got one of the best quarterbacks. If anything, I'm doing an RPO or something like that as well too. So sometimes he can be a little bit questionable, especially when it matters most in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, like just looking at these past like flameouts, it's low key kind of been on the players too. They got to figure that out. But like you said, they're either going to have to make some roster tweaks or they're going to have to just go in a new direction if they don't get to where they need to go to. Because on paper, at least from the AFC, I think from a talent perspective, well, now the defense looking a little washed right now. But from a talent perspective, at least going into the regular season, they look like they were the best team on paper. So we'll see what happens with them. So like you said, what's on their side though is Joe Burrow's hurt. Aaron Rodgers kind of old. The Browns don't have a quarterback. So on paper, like you said too, they have a tough schedule in the beginning, and it should get a little bit smoother there. But as long as they win their division, they can give themselves a chance and run it up in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with them as